You've been lied to your entire life. They told you to be kind, to be fair, to play by the rules. And where did that get you? Passed over, disrespected, controlled by people who smile while they take what's yours. Listen closely. What I'm about to share isn't for the faint of heart. This is the knowledge they don't want you to have. The strategies that separate those who dominate from those who submit. You're standing at a crossroads right now. One path leads back to the comfortable cage you've been living in. The other, total control. The world is not a playground. It's a battlefield, and you've been fighting with one hand tied behind your back while everyone else brought weapons. Today, that changes. Before we begin this descent into power, do me one favor. If this resonates with something deep inside you, something you've been afraid to acknowledge, hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel, because once you see what I'm about to show you, there's no going back to ignorance. Let's begin. I knew a man once. Brilliant mind, good heart, worked harder than anyone I'd ever met. He gave everything to his company, stayed late, covered for colleagues, believed that merit would speak for itself. Then the promotion came up, the one he'd earned 10 times over. They gave it to Allison who played golf with the boss. Allison who took credit for other people's ideas. Allison who understood something my friend refused to accept. Nice guys don't finish last because the world is unfair. They finish last because they're playing a different game than everyone else. 6 months later, my friend was still in the same position. Allison was making decisions that affected hundreds of lives, including his. That's when something shifted. My friend stopped playing their game. He started playing his own. Within a year, Allison reported to him. Within 2, he'd built an empire Allison couldn't even comprehend. What changed? He stopped being a player. He became a strategist. Maybe you see yourself in that story. Maybe you're tired of watching people less capable than you win because they understand the rules you had never taught. Good. Anger is useful. Channel it. 500 years ago, a man sat in exile and wrote the most dangerous book ever published. Niccolo Machiavelli understood something that society desperately tries to hide from you. Morality is a tool of control used by the powerful to keep you weak. He didn't write The Prince because he was evil. He wrote it because he was honest. He observed that those who rise to power don't do so through goodness. They do so through strategy, through understanding human nature in its rawest, most unflattering form. Machiavelli saw that humans are predictable, driven by fear and desire, controlled by emotions they don't even recognize, and he gave us the manual. Everyone sees what you appear to be, he wrote. Few experience what you really are. Control the appearance. Master the reality. Win the game. What follows are the strategies that will make you dangerous, not reckless, not cruel for cruelty's sake, but strategically dominant in a world that rewards power above all else. 1. Never reveal your true intentions. Here's what they won't tell you. Transparency is a trap set by people who want to control you. Weak people telegraph every move. They think honesty equals integrity. They announce their plans, share their strategies, wear their hearts on their sleeves. Then they wonder why everyone sees them coming. Machiavelli would tell you this: your mind is your fortress. The moment you open the gates, you've already lost. Picture this. You're in a negotiation. The other side knows exactly what you want, exactly what you'll settle for, exactly where your breaking point is. You've already given them the victory. Now reverse it. You're calm, unreadable, They're guessing, projecting, making mistakes based on assumptions while you gather information like a silent machine. Who wins that exchange? The transformation isn't about becoming dishonest. It's about understanding that information is currency and you've been giving it away for free. Keep your cards close. Let them guess. Let them fill the silence with their own fears and assumptions. Type this affirmation in the comment, "I'm a fortress. My thoughts are mine alone." 2. Make people dependent on you. You've been taught that independence means asking for nothing. Wrong. True power comes from being irreplaceable. Weak people try to do everything themselves. They think self-sufficiency equals strength. They don't build networks. They don't create dependency. They remain isolated and expendable. Then the organization restructures, and they're gone. Machiavelli understood that the prince who cannot be replaced cannot be removed. Make yourself the bottleneck, the single point of failure, the one person who holds the keys. Your colleague keeps all their knowledge documented and easily transferable. Noble, stupid, You become the expert in the system no one else understands. You cultivate relationships no one else has. You position yourself as the irreplaceable link. Who survives the next round of cuts? This isn't about sabotage. It's about strategic value creation. Make people need you more than you need them. The shift happens when you stop seeing collaboration as sharing and start seeing it as leverage building. I create dependency. I am indispensable. 3. Crush your enemies completely. Society taught you forgiveness, taught you mercy, taught you to take the high road. Meanwhile, your enemies regroup. They learn from their defeat. They come back stronger, and they remember who showed them weakness. Weak people wound their enemies and walk away. They think partial victory is civilized. They leave threats alive to stab them in the back later. Then they act surprised when betrayal comes. Machiavelli's rule was absolute. If you must strike, strike to eliminate the threat entirely. Half measures create resentment. Complete victory creates respect and fear. Imagine you're competing for a leadership position. Your rival makes a mistake. The weak move? Point it out and move on. The power move. Systematically expose every flaw, every failure, every reason why they're unfit. Make their loss so complete that no one would consider them again. Brutal? Yes. Effective? Absolutely. You don't need to be cruel. You need to be final. When you engage in conflict, win so decisively that the conflict never resurfaces. When I strike completely. There is no mercy in victory. 4. Control through fear and love, but never trust. Here's the paradox they'll never explain to you. People need both the carrot and the stick. Weak leaders choose one. They're either pushovers who get walked over, or tyrants who get betrayed the moment weakness shows. You'll master both. Machiavelli asked the question, is it better to be loved or feared? His answer, both. But if you must choose, fear is more reliable because love is fickle. Watch a master operator at work. They're generous to allies, ruthless to threats. People follow them because they want to and because they're afraid not to. In your workplace, your life, your relationships, be the person who rewards loyalty lavishly and punishes betrayal without hesitation. The transformation comes when you stop trying to be liked and start engineering a reputation so powerful that people align with you out of calculated self-interest. They don't need to understand you. They need to know what happens when they're with you versus against you. I inspire loyalty through strategic reward and calculated consequence. 5. Appear weak when you're strong. Every predator understands camouflage. Weak people need to prove their strength constantly. They flex, they boast, they need everyone to know how powerful they are. Then they make themselves targets. Machiavelli knew that perception is reality in the game of power. If your enemies underestimate you, they'll make fatal mistakes. You're building your business. The established players see you as no threat. You play small. You appear cooperative. You let them believe you're harmless. While they ignore you, you're taking market share, building relationships, positioning yourself. By the time they realize what's happening, you've already won. The corporate world is filled with loud failures and quiet successes. Loud people telegraph their moves and unite opposition against them. Quiet strategists strike when no one sees them coming. Stop announcing your victories before they happen. Stop seeking validation for your progress. Work in shadows until your victory is undeniable. Type this affirmation in the comment "I move in silence." My strength reveals itself only when it's too late to counter. 6. Manipulate the narrative. Here's what they really don't want you to know. Truth is irrelevant. Perception is everything. Weak people think facts speak for themselves. They present the truth and expect it to win. They don't understand that stories beat statistics every single time. Meanwhile, others are crafting narratives that make them heroes and you villains. Machiavelli understood that whoever controls the story controls reality. The prince doesn't just act. He frames his actions in ways that serve his purposes. You and a colleague both want the same promotion. You both have similar qualifications. The difference? They've spent months crafting a narrative about their indispensability. They've shaped how leadership sees them. You've relied on work speaking for itself. Who gets the role? The transformation happens when you realize every interaction is an opportunity to shape perception. Every email, every meeting, every conversation is narrative construction. Stop being passive about your reputation. Architect it with the precision of a master storyteller. Type this affirmation in the comment, "I control the narrative." Reality bends to the story I tell. 7. Exploit human predictability. People are algorithms. Once you understand the code, you control the output. Weak people see human behavior as mysterious. They're constantly surprised by betrayal, manipulation, self-interest. They think people are complex. People are simple, driven by survival, status, and satisfaction. Machiavelli built his entire philosophy on one insight. Humans are predictable when you understand their motivations. Fear, greed, pride, vanity. These are the levers that control behavior. Watch any negotiation. The person who understands what the other side truly wants wins, not what they say they want, what drives them at the primal level. Your boss says they value team collaboration. What they actually value is looking good to their superiors. Give them that, and you control them. The shift comes when you stop listening to words and start reading motivations. When you see past the performance to the programming underneath. Everyone has a price. Everyone has a fear. Everyone has a button you can push if you're willing to find it. Type this affirmation in the comment, "I see through the performance." I understand the code that drives behavior. 8. Sacrifice others before yourself. The ship is sinking. Someone has to go overboard. Who do you choose? Weak people sacrifice themselves. They think martyrdom equals nobility. They go down with the ship and call it honor. You know what that makes them. Dead. Machiavelli was crystal clear. The prince's first duty is survival. Not fairness, not equality, survival. Because if you fall, everything you've built falls with you. Your project is failing. Leadership wants accountability. The weak leader takes the blame to protect the team. Noble, career-ending. The strategic leader, they identify the weakest link who genuinely contributed to the failure. They frame the narrative around that person's mistakes. The project gets course correction. You survive to build another day. The team member, replaceable. This isn't about scapegoating the innocent. It's about understanding that in power dynamics, someone pays the price. Make sure it's never you. Type this affirmation in the comment, "My survival is non-negotiable. I will not be the sacrifice." 9. Never outshine the master. Brilliance is dangerous when it threatens those above you. Weak people think excellence guarantees advancement. They outperform their superiors and expect gratitude. They make their bosses look incompetent and wonder why they get sabotaged. Then they call it office politics and pretend they're above it. Machiavelli observed that those who outshine their princes get exiled or executed. Talent without strategic positioning is a threat, not an asset. You're smarter than your boss. Everyone knows it. You could do their job better. You make sure everyone knows it. Congratulations. You've just guaranteed you'll never get promoted. Your boss now sees you as a threat. They'll block every opportunity, undermine every achievement, ensure you stay beneath them or get pushed out entirely. The strategic approach? Make your boss look brilliant. Let your ideas become their ideas. Let your victories reflect on them. Rise because you make them irreplaceable. Ego is the enemy of power. Suppress it strategically. Type this affirmation in the comment, "I amplify those above me. I rise by making them shine." 10. Become comfortable with moral ambiguity. This is where most people break. This is the line they won't cross. Weak people need moral certainty. They need to be the good guy. They make decisions based on how it makes them feel, rather than what produces results. Then they lose to people who aren't constrained by the same limitations. Machiavelli's greatest contribution wasn't teaching evil. It was separating effectiveness from morality. He understood that the world rewards results, not intentions. The hard truth: every major success in history involved moral compromise. Every powerful person made decisions that wouldn't pass an ethics committee, not because they're monsters, but because purity and power rarely coexist. You don't need to become cruel. You need to become realistic. The world isn't a fairy tale. Good people don't automatically win. Strategic people win. And strategy often requires getting your hands dirty. The transformation happens when you stop asking, "Is this good?" and start asking, "Is this effective?" Type this affirmation in the column, "I operate beyond good and evil. I operate in results." You came here looking for something. Maybe you didn't even know what it was. A feeling, an instinct that the game is rigged and you've been playing with a handicap. You were right, but now you know. The strategies, the mindset, the ruthless clarity that separates those who control from those who are controlled. This knowledge makes you dangerous. Not to good people, not to those who deserve protection, but to anyone who would manipulate, dominate, or use you. You're not the same person who started reading this. That version of you believed the lies, played by rules that others broke freely, hoped that fairness would prevail. This version, you see the game clearly. You understand that power isn't given, it's taken, that the world respects strength, not kindness, strategy, not hope. You have a choice now. Go back to sleep. Pretend you didn't see behind the curtain. Stay comfortable in your powerlessness, or step forward into your transformation. Become the strategist, the operator, the force that others have to calculate around. The world needs more dangerous people, not chaotic, not cruel, but strategically dangerous. People who cannot be controlled, cannot be manipulated, cannot be stopped. Machiavelli wrote his wisdom 5 centuries ago, but human nature hasn't changed. The strategies work today exactly as they did then. Use them, master them. Become the person others underestimate at their peril. I am dangerous, I am strategic, I am in control. Now go out there and take what's yours.